let's explore modern design and quality content strategies for your online success. The first big topic we're going to talk about today is effective design principles. So this is a really fun conversation for me because I always ask this question in so many of our webinars. What is a website, right? We talk about this all the time. A website is a communication tool of your messaging, your content, who you are, what you do. And with effective design practices and modern standards, you're going to create the most impactful online presence for your business that's possible. So a couple really big bullet points here to unpack. Your website, first off, this one should be really obvious for everyone, should be responsive and mobile first. What does that mean? If we look at this nice sample here, we have sort of like the desktop version of what the website looks like, and it goes perfectly down to a mobile experience, and it's consistent across the board. But realistically, the overwhelming amount of traffic that's going to come to most websites is through mobile. It's just the world we live in today. We're going to talk a lot about kind of mobile experience today. But really just making sure it's fully responsive and the same experience on desktop is going to be consistent on mobile. And really just always thinking about your mobile experience because, with all likeliness, that's where most of your traffic is coming from. We're going to talk a lot about a lot of kind of like marketing and sort of like strategy with your design and content today, but this is a big one. Make your actionable targets easy and minimize choices. And just kind of a little silly phrase here that we all know, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? So there's a lot of psychology with design that we can kind of talk about with this, but without nerding out too much on that, just making your actionable targets easy. What does that mean? Again, looking at this little sample here, you can see that the call to action is there's just a minimal choice. I don't want to go to a website and there's 50 buttons in the when I first land without even scrolling, and there's all these navigation options. You want to really simplify the overall sort of navigation, but also just, what are the desired actions of your website? You want to drive people to a consultation, to a sale, then you need to have that one obvious actionable target that's right in front of them and is going to lead them directly to that. That's how you're going to create more conversions and just have a more impactful online presence. We're going to talk a lot about that today, but also just minimizing choices. Again, I don't want to see like 50 different buttons and all these different choices for people to make. What's the purpose of your website? Is it to drive calendar consultations? Is it to get online sales? Is it just to have someone fill out that contact form? Then you need to minimize all of the choices of every single page of your website to drive to your desired action. And again, just like, for most business websites, I'm going to talk about this numerous times today, just kind of keeping it simple, clean, no clutter. We're going to unpack that a bit more, but it is really important. Again, kind of looking at this example here, using focal point. Focal point is kind of a design principle of just, capturing someone's attention right on an obvious point. Making your messaging and your call to actions just like the one obvious thing that everyone sees. User-friendly layouts. We're going to talk about that a lot today. And just clean structure. Again, no clutter. I don't want to see a million things going on with your website. Again, these are kind of principles that will apply to any business. Sometimes some businesses are going to have a lot of moving things going on, a lot of, cool bells and whistles. But for the overwhelming majority of business websites, clean structure, no clutter, and focusing way more on your user experience than having some crazy flashy design is going to be, what actually helps you drive results. We're going to unpack a lot more about that in a second. Dividing your content with images, videos, infographics, backgrounds, and just separated sections. I'm going to talk way more about organization in 1 second. And again, just like easy navigation, a high level of accessibility. You can see again on this sample here, just like, easy menu. It makes sense to people, just making everything as user-friendly as possible. I'm going to say user-friendly quite a bit today. Consistent branding. Even if you're using like a free template on a platform like Wix or WordPress or Squarespace, you can still take those templates and customize them to be your unique brand style with your fonts, your colors, branded images and elements. Whether you're doing fully custom design with a designer who's helping you do that, or you're just using a template, you still just want to customize the overall design to be, to your unique brand style. So that's something we're really going to talk about a lot more. Kind of just moving forward here, though, I really want to unpack the organization of website media and content. This is one that really kind of, I could go on for hours about this, but we're going to try to keep it short here. Your website should be clean, again, well organized and user-friendly. User-friendly, user-friendly. I'm going to say that a lot today. You want to divide your content with images, videos, infographics, backgrounds, and separated sections. This sample here is a great example of that. I don't want to see that white page with just all your content dumped down the page. That's not engaging. Doesn't matter how great a content you wrote, you still have to have a visual aspect to your engagement in order to properly pull people in and, just kind of like, use your messaging and again, like drive the desired actions that you want for your website. You want to tell your story visually, not just in your content. Again, looking at this sample here, you can kind of just see how, they're using impactful messaging and their content to, kind of tell their story, but it's all branded together with this really, just great design that, makes sense for the business and is just, kind of consistent throughout. Telling your story visually is, something to really think about. And again, custom design or just a template on platforms like Wix and WordPress and Squarespace, you can achieve this. Modern design standards, just to keep your presentation up to date. I don't want to see websites that look like they're still in 1983 when websites were first coming online. Again, just whether you're going down the template road with some of the major website platforms or you're fully customizing the design, just do some research, look around about what's kind of happening nowadays. You just want to follow modern design standards and just keep that presentation best representing your business. Kind of again like just really harping on what kind of works best for a business website versus kind of like a lot of the time just on having a lot of like unnecessary bells and whistles. For most businesses, doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's going to just always kind of ring true. A lot of clutter, a lot of disorganization, the long page of content, all that type of stuff. It's just not going to lead to a high level of engagement, and it's not going to turn into results for your business. You really want to make just a nice, clean, professional, well-branded visual presentation for your website. Work in all your great content, of course. We're going to talk about that much more in a second. But a lot of the times, like all these unnecessary bells and whistles, they just are so unnecessary for business websites. So again, just keep it simple, keep it clean, and organization. Just to kind of dig into that a little bit more here, I don't want to see this. And I see a lot of content people and SEO people talking about like content is king, and that's the most important thing. And then you go over to a website that's kind of following that, and it's like you're just dumping all this content down the page. It doesn't matter how great your content is or how well optimized it is. You need to kind of work in effective design and principles that are going to add to that engagement level. So and what's kind of crazy too is like, look how much content is here. You have the same amount of content within this sample here, and it's just organized in a way that it's engaging people. You're working in call to actions, you're working in infographics and separated section. You're well organizing everything, and that's just going to engage people much more. It's going to help you create conversions and leads and find the results that you're looking for, but it's also just showcasing your own unique brand style. So whether you're a plumber or a life coach, it doesn't matter what your business is, the more that you kind of follow these type of principles, you're just going to have a way more engaging online presence. So let's kind of just also talk about the results factor here, because this is one that really, it's what we're all after, especially with a business website, right? So online user experience for results. This one is a lot to dig into here, because impactful messaging and a well-designed user experience is going to directly influence user interactions and also just their perception of your business. So, what does that mean? Basically, when a visitor is more engaged with your website design, exactly what I was just talking about in that previous slide there. You have a way more engaging design, you still have great content worked into it. It's just going to make a more, what we call, kind of sticky website that's going to keep them on the page. It's going to make them way more likely to follow your call to actions. And it's just going to help you drive those leads and conversions that you're ideally looking for. So we talk a lot about the digital consumer journey in a lot of our webinars. So if you haven't heard me talk about that before, definitely go check out some of our other webinars in the Hoot Host community group and some of the other Alignable Learn webinars that we've done. But basically, like, look at this sample here, and you can see both the messaging And even the visual is leading you to hit this lead form. This is a real kind of like just basic example of what I'm talking about here, but structuring your website from a content perspective and also a visual perspective in order to help you drive those leads and conversions, that's the name of the game for most business websites. So you want to structure your website around the digital consumer journey, and you want to create each page layout and even the content of that page focused on the user intent of that journey stage. So real quick, the digital consumer journey is discovery, consideration, action, retention, and advocacy. So discovery is like when someone's first discovering you. Consideration is when they're going over to like your service pages or your primary pillar pages, and they're learning a little bit more about your business. And the whole point of the website is to drive them to that third step, which is the action. Getting on your calendar, making that purchase, or hitting your contact form, whatever it is for your unique business. But that, kind of 3 steps there is traditionally known as sort of basically the buyer's journey. You want to structure both the design of the website and also the content around the intent of each step in that journey to get to your desired actions. Telling that story and guiding users and authentically engaging them, it's just going to, keep people on the page, again, making it, just more sticky. And with that, they're more likely to engage and actually, make it to your desired action. Really just, again, going back to this sample here, using impactful messaging to drive your desired actions, not just dumping a bunch of content down the page, but we're using, a strong statement here that's encouraging someone to go, oh, you know what, I should fill out this form. That's the kind of ways you want to use your design and your content to really, again, help drive more results. When it comes to those last 2 steps of the digital consumer journey, retention and advocacy, again, really just, keeping your customer retention at a high level through good communication and support through your website. Really, again, when it comes to the user experience aspect of a website, with retention, FAQs, communication tools like forms, chatbots, and things like that. That's the type of stuff that's just going to, help you provide better support and just have, strong communication. Again, what is a website? It's a communication tool. And when you do all of this right and you have that great user experience and you are slowly driving results because you're driving people to those desired actions, you're going to get the gift that keeps on giving, which is advocacy. And you want to have that in your website too. You want to show those great testimonials that you get. Someone goes over to your Google Business Profile and leaves you a 5-star review. They go to Alignable and they leave you a recommendation. The more of that advocacy that you're showing in your website, you're going to build trust and credibility. You tie that all together and you have a great user experience with a website that's, again, helping you find the results that you're looking for. So that's kind of like the design side of things, talking about just, having a nice, clean, great presentation for your business, keeping it well organized, all of your materials, your content, everything just in a nice, effective layout. And then, thinking about, sort of like how do you drive results and structuring your website for results. But the other side of the conversation we're going to talk about today is content. So this is a fun one. This is basically bringing back a lot of what we talked about in our previous webinar. So create quality content for ideal messaging, optimization, and speaking to your audience. This is something that we talked about a lot last time with, how to effectively engage people. You want to inform them, maybe kind of entertain them, and most importantly, meet their intentions while they're on your website, whether they came in through a blog post or one of your main service pages, or they just landed on the homepage. You're writing content for each of those sections in order to properly engage that person, their intention when they landed on that page. You want to write to that intent, and you want to, properly engage them based on basically, where they are in that digital consumer journey, like we were just talking about. So let's just unpack some of these bullet points here. Write content to properly engage your target audience with your appropriate tone, persona, little emotion, and style. Basically, this is all just about like writing content that is authentic, that, is, really speaking to who you are, what your business is and what you do, not just kind of putting out like generic information and things like that. The way that again, we were talking about like a plumber or a life coach before, the way that a plumber is engaging his audience versus how a life coach might be, engaging his audience. Totally different styles of writing, totally different, even the design aspect of things, totally different design. But especially when content, on the content front here, the persona, the tone, and the style of writing needs to be completely different. It has to be unique to your business. You want to write content based on, again, on the intent of the user landing on a specific page or post. So again, that blog post, that service page, even just your home page, they shouldn't all be written in the same style. You need to, think about, okay, this person found me from a blog post, so I'm speaking to that person, trying to help them because they're in, that blog post was answering a question or something. They went over to the service page. Now they want to learn a little bit more about my business. I need to write in that kind of tone and style and, kind of lay out my content in that sort of fashion. Thinking about user intent is a huge part of, how you're writing and how you're structuring your website. And then, again, for like, just making it more authentic and, kind of, just more, unique to your business and really just, showing your expertise. We're going to talk about this way more in 1 second, but just sharing your insights, your opinions, your knowledge, and your credentials. So, so important. Again, avoid just like the generic content stuff. And then, when it comes to like your articles, your blogs, your white papers, you want to target topics consistently that relate to your business. You want to build topic clusters. I can unpack that a little bit in the Q&A if anyone has any questions. And just, you want to just hit the same topics repeatedly that relate to your business so you can build what we call topic authority. So let's dive into like the authentic content creation process a little bit more here, because this is really important. So EEAT strategy. This is something we talked about a lot in the last webinar. I'm gonna try to just move through this quickly, but I want to unpack it for everyone. So EEAT is a guideline to creating more authentic, quality content that engages your audience, but also Google knows it can trust. So it's basically an acronym here created by Google. It's experience, expertise, authority or authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So let's just unpack this real quick for everyone. I want everyone to see this great infographic here because it really just showcases exactly what we're talking about in such an easy way to understand. So experience, when you're writing your content, you want to talk about your insights, your advice, your stories, even your opinions. The more you're trickling that into your content, you're making it just more human and relatable. But also, you're just kind of bringing out like your own sort of like personal stories and everything. It just makes it more real and more human, just way more engaging for especially for your target audience. On top of that, your expertise. You're sharing your expert knowledge, your skills from the time that you've been doing the work that you do for such a long time, your credentials, maybe associations that you're in, awards that you've won. Basically, you just want to like really, take like your notability and your credibility within what you do, showcase all of that. So, when a reader is going over a blog post or a service page of your website, they're going, you know what, I can take this person's insights and advice and even their stories seriously because look at all the credentials that they have and they're a part of that association and they won an award. That's the kind of stuff that really makes the content, again, more relatable, trusting, but also just, authentic, and you're going to engage people more effectively. So then we come to the authoritativeness part of this. Are you a trusted source of content? This is basically, as you're following EEAT and you're putting out content on your website and making some blog posts and things like that, this is the question that Google is asking about your content. Are you a trusted source? Do you have an audience that keeps coming back? Does your audience share your information and your content, put it out there into the world? Most importantly, do they find it relatable and helpful? So, again, if the more that you're following these ideas around quality content creation, you're going to eventually get that authoritativeness, and you're going to, rise in the ranks within search results. And then finally, you do get that trustworthiness, and, in rising in the ranks. But this is kind of like the way to think about like how you will rise in the ranks. First off, transparency. You want to have all of your articles, your blogs, your white paper, even just the content within your website. We want to know who is the creator, who is the owner of the business. So just making it real transparent. You write a blog post, hey, this is from the owner, and the owner is giving you, their insights, their advice. They have these credentials. The more that you're transparent about your content, again, not just putting out that generic stuff, that's going to really help you just, gain more trust, and also it's going to help you rise in the ranks. And then, especially just for, really getting your website, like, just more organic search engine traffic, content accuracy, consistent quality, topic authority, talking about the same, topics that relate to your services and your products. The more that you do that, and you're just thinking of like all different, questions and things that people tend to have around your services, write articles and write blog posts about all of those. So Google sees, oh, they are definitely a topic authority and they're consistently putting out great stuff that we can trust. You're going to rise in the ranks. And again, just Google, once they know that your content is relevant and helpful to people, that also is really going to help you have that authoritativeness and continue to be a content authority, especially on search engines. So let's keep it moving forward here. I want to talk about blogging. I was just kind of, hinting a little bit at blogs there. We talked a lot about this last time. Just make blogs that help people. And that's really kind of the name of the game now. It's kind of a line that I've been saying so much, that helping is the new marketing. The more that you help people and the more that you kind of follow, strategies that I'm going to unpack a little bit more in one second, it's really going to make your blogs more impactful. You're going to raise your engagement and you're going to do better on search engines. So blogs, they help you expand your presence, your ability to be found on search engines. They keep your existing audience engaged, and they help you expand your audience. So, again, with blogs, topic authority, so important. Consistently target topics that are relevant to your business and your services and your products. Same thing for, sort of like local and geographic relevance, especially if you're a home or a local service provider, or you just want to be found in certain service areas. You can use blogs to be more engaged with your local community, target your business areas, and, try to come up within those areas so that more people find you organically. And again, that's just going to really help you with your search engine presence, but also engaging the target audience that you really want to, be found with. And this is something I'm going to talk about way more in one second here, but use blogs to answer common questions, provide helpful insights, and inform your audience. Also, kind of entertaining your audience is a good one too. So we can talk about that a little bit more if anyone has any questions around that. But what do I mean by helpful? I mean Google's helpful content algorithm. So Google is constantly updating search engine standards to only show more relevant, insightful, and helpful results to their users. So this is called the helpful content algorithm. So just real quick, I just want to unpack this because this is really important for a lot of businesses who are trying to write their own blog posts and things like that. This is a great strategy for you to understand and just kind of realize these standards are in place. Answer common questions and provide insights and advice. Share your knowledge and your credentials and your skills to provide helpful information to people. Think about like all the kind of questions that come up the first time, whether it's a new customer or an existing customer. What are questions that tend to come up a lot with your services and what you do? Every single one of those questions that people have for you, write a blog post about it, write an article about it, because those are all little opportunities for you to get found more on search engines. And the more that you're strictly following EEAT, it's going to help you make it more human and authentic and relatable. And again, that's all going to engage your audience much more, but also really help you with Google much more. You want to avoid self-promotion and the spammy kind of content with blog posts especially. Don't just be making blog posts about how awesome your business is. Uniquely, and authentically try to help people. And that's going to make your blogs and your articles way more impactful. You just want to aim, again, just to like answer questions and think about like, what are the things that your audience might be searching for on search engines? And again, write content around that, and that's going to help you rise in the ranks and more effectively engage your audience. Strictly following the helpful content guidelines will lead to more organic search traffic from Google. It's going to increase your ranking. And, and now when you go to Google, someone answers asks a question to the search engine, they get that answer that's kind of like that generative AI response. More often than not, that generative AI response comes from a blog post or an article on a website, and then they immediately, put you right to that blog or that article. So if you do this effectively enough over time, you can become that generative AI response. And what's going to happen? People are going to go right into that blog post or right into the journey of your website. And then who are they more likely to call and do business with? You. So really make sure that you follow this. So of course, with all of these content conversations, the big question is always, what about AI, right? We hear this all the time. We talked about this a lot last time. Don't let AI just write all your website content, your blog posts for you, please. Do not mass produce that generic content. I've been trying to basically allude to that this entire time. You want to make it authentic from you, about your experiences in your life and what you do. If you're just putting out that generic information, you're just not engaging your audience effectively, and you're not going to do great with search engines either. Remember that AI is just a tool to help, but human input really is required, especially when we're talking about things like EEAT. We're talking about your personal experiences, your expertise. You can give AI great prompts and great information, and it's going to, give you back, better information based on what you put into it. But that's not really EEAT. EEAT, again, is human, authentic information from your life and your experience. You want to, just kind of like avoid that spam and outdated kind of SEO tactics of like mass producing, AI blog posts and everything. That stuff doesn't work. It's all going to get you in trouble with search engines. But also kind of think about it like this, like, you know, everybody can kind of spot AI content now. We're all getting pretty hip to it. You see it on Alignable and LinkedIn and other social media and stuff like that. No one ever wrote posts on a social media using like the little siren emojis and things like that until AI content creation became a thing. So we all see that type of stuff. We know it's produced by AI. That's not unique. That's not authentic. That's not properly engaging people and really putting yourself out there, which is what you should be doing. You're just kind of given, mass-produced, just jargon that is the same thing that everybody else is doing. So the more that you see these sirens and, little things like that kind of worked in, and those typical AI things of in the digital landscape and, those type of language, we can all spot that stuff. And again, that's just not going to help you from an engagement perspective. Follow EEAT and make it more human, and you're going to have way more success. Kind of a little line I've been creating lately is just saying that like AI can't do EEAT. So just remember that. But again, AI is not evil though. It is really awesome. Use it as a tool. It's just another tool in the toolbox to help you be more efficient, and you'll have way more success. Again, it's really all about authenticity. So just some reminders and recap here. Again, going down the design stuff here, modern design, organization, and being well branded to best represent your business. It's all about that. I don't want to see those old school looking websites from 1983. Let's keep it up to date and let's, best represent your business. Responsive, user-friendly, accessible, and easy navigation. Avoid the clutter, make it really accessible. Make it easy for people to understand, make your actions, sort of like minimize so people just have that one choice and that's going to lead them to your desired action. It's going to help you create more leads and conversions. Structure your website for your desired actions. It's going to help you get more conversions. And then, definitely go back and watch our other webinars about the digital consumer journey. Always think about user intent. So important. And then just on the content front, engage people with your unique tone and persona, emotion and style. It's going to help you properly engage people, inform them, entertain them, and just give them what they're looking for. Follow EEAT standards. So important just to help you as kind of like a guideline to, for your content success. Share your personal stories, your professional expertise, and your credibility. That's what's going to help you, really, just be a trusted, authoritative, online presence. Just again, make your content human, relatable, and authentic. That's what's going to help you build trust and have way more success online. So I hope everyone, from the design perspective and to the content perspective, has some really good insights now to really help you have the most impactful online presence possible.